If you saw my last technology video, I promise this one will be better, and if you haven't seen my last technology video, just watch this one, not that one. Hey guys, it's Molly here again, and I have my little apple orchard here. Get it? Because they're all Apple products? I know, I'm so funny. Anyways, I want to do another updated technology video because I feel like in my last one, after scrolling through the comments, I saw some reoccurring comments over and over again, and I figured I would just do a better job this time, hopefully, at explaining how I use these things and kind of showcase the voice better without music in the background and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through the different products that I have, that I use on a daily basis, why they're helpful, what they're helpful for, and that kind of thing. So before I go any further, I should mention, yes, I am actually blind. That was a question that happened to come up a lot on my last technology video. I guess I didn't properly explain. Yes, I am blind. No, I don't wear dark sunglasses. Yes, my eyes look pretty normal. Yes, I can look at the camera. Yes, I look at my technology while I'm using it. I answer all of those questions in other videos on my channel, like my how and why I look at things video, top 5 reasons why people think I'm faking blind, blindness and eye-hand coordination. So I'm going to link all of those videos in the description box because those will explain all the things you're curious about. I'll even link my makeup tutorial down below so you can figure out how I do makeup without a mirror. So all of that aside, now that we all are on the same page, we all know I'm blind, let's talk about how I use things like, oh, here it is, a touchscreen phone. That already started talking. So this is my iPhone. It's a rose gold and white 6S. Yes, I know the color of my phone. Somebody told me the color when I bought it, so that's how I know what color it is. And I'm like a super girly girl, so even though I can't see that it's rose gold and white, I like knowing that it's rose gold and white. And then in terms of how I use a touchscreen phone, Apple has actually created a program called Voiceover that comes on every single Apple product they've ever released. And so pretty much if you have an iPod or an Apple Watch like I have right here, it has the capability to do what my products are doing today. You can go into your settings, it's under General, then Accessibility, and it's called Voiceover. Please note that if you turn it on, you're not going to be able to use your phone properly because it basically completely changes the way you interact and use the product. And I, as a blind person, have been trained on how to use these products with Voiceover on, but obviously if you've never used it before, it's going to be tricky and you're not going to know the right finger taps and how to control it. I think that you can do, hey Siri, turn Voiceover on, and it'll turn it on for you, and then you can ask Siri to turn it off. Apparently my last video, when I said that, a bunch of people's phones turned Voiceover on because I said, hey Siri, and their phones reacted to me, which I think is hilarious, and I apologize if that did happen. But definitely like Siri as a blind person is something I use a lot. Definitely I use the Hey Siri application and use it to make phone calls. I'll use Siri to send text messages, and I find it really helpful, but Voiceover is definitely very different than Siri. So I'm going to kind of show you more of the Voiceover aspect of things and not so much Siri because a lot of people who aren't blind use Siri as well. I do also use the kind of talk to text element where I can basically verbalize a text message and it'll send it. So that's very helpful, but anyways, so I can basically, I hope you guys can hear the voice. Let me, it's up all the way. So, text messages, I got one unread. Skype, Facebook, weather, photos, I skipped one. Camera, clock, Twitter, FaceTime, Audible, YouTube. So for those wondering, so for those wondering how I kind of control my YouTube channel in terms of how I reply to comments, how I watch other videos, how I review my own channel, there's a couple of different apps that I use, but obviously like I have the main, so I have the main, I just turned the speech off in case you're wondering. So I use the YouTube apps in order to reply to comments on my YouTube videos, in order to comment on other people's YouTube videos, in order to watch YouTube videos. I pretty much use my phone for Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, texting, all my kind of social media needs I do on my phone. And then my laptop here, which also has VoiceOver, I mainly use for emailing, creating documents. I bring this to speeches with me because I'm a motivational speaker, and I show a PowerPoint throughout my presentation, so that PowerPoint's on here. So that's kind of what I use the computer for, and then my phone is like music and just like doing things that most people would do with their phone. My iPad I mainly use to, sometimes I'll travel with it instead of bringing my laptop because my laptop's heavier. I use this every night to listen to books, audiobooks, because obviously I can't read books with my eyes, so I read audiobooks. And then my watch isn't actually going to be able to talk right now because it needs updates, but my watch typically does talk, and I just use this for what everybody uses watches for. I use it as a fitness tracker. I use it to tell the time. I use it to answer phone calls if like my phone is in my purse and my phone starts to ring, or to read text messages when they come in right away. So that's why I have the different products. Anyways, let me open this again. So you can hear it's making like different noises that your phone won't make. So it makes a noise when the phone unlocks, it makes a noise when the phone locks, and that way we know that it's locked or unlocked by that kind of beeping noise that it's making. You can use the phone with VoiceOver on, but with the voice off. So right now, VoiceOver is still on, but it's not going to be talking to me. It's simply going to be making clicking sounds. So it's really helpful if you want to be able to control music, but you don't want your phone to be talking while you're trying to play music. So it just made that noise, which means I know my screen's locked. And that noise, now it's unlocked. So basically, if I want to play music, I take 2 fingers and I double tap. And then, if I'm actually, let's play music. And then it stops. Starts, stops. So that's how like a blind person can control the music that they're listening to, or when I'm on YouTube, I can do that same double finger tap to command pausing and playing a YouTube video. And then I can use 3 fingers
Speech on. Speech off.
to turn speech on and speech off. VoiceOver again is still on, but like I said, it's useful when you're like listening to an audiobook and you want to be able to control it still, but you don't want the voice interrupting what you're listening to. So that's why that feature exists. And then you can use this, triple click the home key to turn VoiceOver on and off, so that easily like I can transition to my friend using my phone if we don't want VoiceOver on because it's a sighted person. And then other different things, you can turn the screen curtain on, so this is like a plus to being a blind person. If I really didn't want anybody seeing my text messages or seeing what I was doing on my phone, I can, I'm just going to turn the speech on, and then
Screen curtain on.
Screen curtain on.
Audible. FaceTime. Clock. 9:47. Scout. Photo. Camera. Health.
So I can still do everything.
Speech off.
I can still listen to my text messages, I can still send text messages, I can still go on YouTube and watch a YouTube video because I don't really need technically the screen to be on. There was a lot of questions about why I do keep my screen on, because for the most part I do keep my brightness up on my laptop, I do keep my screen on my phone, except for a few select times. And the reason I do that is because as a blind person, I still have some light perception, and so my brain actually craves visual stimulation, and looking at the brightness on my screen gives me that visual stimulation, makes my brain very happy. I know that's weird and it's something that a lot of sighted people won't understand, but my other blind peeps will definitely get me on this. 90% of blind people have remaining vision, and I do, and so because of that, my brain really wants to see. And so when I look at, say, the brightness on my iPhone, or when I look out the window that's in front of me, it gives my brain that stimulation, and it's just like a good feeling. So I know it wastes battery faster, and I would save more battery if I kept the screen off, but it's helpful for me to keep the screen on. So that's why I do that. Unlock this again. Come on. Oh, I forgot to turn the voice on.
Speech on.
So now it's back to a regular phone. So basically, yeah, like through that I can do pretty much anything anyone else would do on a phone, anything anybody else would do on any of these products. So for example, my laptop, I'm going to turn this so nobody can see the password I'm typing. So, this is, obviously my desktop. I have my voiceover on.
New Finder window.
I
Now
can
all my files
find the
window.
Finder window.
Vertical slitter. Sidebar table. In sidebar. iCloud Drive. Desktop. Documents. Desktop. You are currently on vertical slitter. Call you. Browser 020170 and I blind. Being blind. Perception. Being blind. Percent blind. Culture. Portable document.
So I know a lot of you aren't going to be able to understand what this is saying, and that's because my ears have been trained to listen to this. I listen to this on a daily basis. If I want to use technology, which as a millennial, of course I want to use technology, this is my only option as a blind person. Well, it's not my only option, but this is the best option for me as a blind person. And in terms of a blind person using technology, voice applications are the only way we can do that. And so listening to this voice is what I do every single day. It's how I send every text message. It's how I read every email. So my ears are so used to it. This is actually slow. A lot of blind people would consider me to have my voiceover on a slow setting. I think I'm about at 65 to 70% speed. So it's like my brain goes crazy when things are talking slow. Like when voiceover first turns on, it's at a much slower pace, so that for people who are new to using the application, they can adjust to the voice. But then you can slowly turn it up over time and your ears just continually adjust to the speed. So it drives me nuts when people first turn voiceover on now because it's just so slow. It's almost like I'm watching or listening to something in slow motion. Like my brain can't stand it. So yeah, I can listen to this and I understand everything it's saying because I'm used to it. It's like anything, when you adjust to it over time, you don't even know that other people aren't used to it. It's like just second nature to you. So yeah, that's how I
Fonts. Folder.
pretty much.
MPI. Molly Burke. Assignment agreement. December 2016. MPI 14 copy.
And obviously I don't use my trackpad, I use different key commands. So because I can't control where my mouse is going on my screen, I do things like
MPI 14 copy. PTX hour.
Spotlight, so I can like search for email and it'll open my mail. Or calendar and it'll open my calendar. So that's
Finder. Done.
how I do that. And honestly, I'm not even going to bother showing you the iPad because it works the exact same way. But that's that. That's voiceover. That's how I do things. I hope if you watched the other video and you had some curiosities about these things, I was able to answer it better in this video. If you want, I think I did a bit more of a demonstration in the last video maybe, so if you want to see more, you can go check out that one. I'll link it below as well with all the other videos I mentioned. Technology for me as a blind person really has opened up a whole world for me, and I'm so appreciative that companies do now build applications with accessibility in mind, because I just can't imagine what my life would be like as a blind person if I didn't have access to technology like the rest of the world does. And I know I had some people mention that if they were blind, they wouldn't even bother using technology because it just doesn't seem worth it. It seems so difficult. It seems a lot harder. But like I said, you just adjust. And I promise you, if you went blind too, you would want to learn how to use technology. You would want to be able to continue to text your friends and to go on Facebook. And at the end of the day, going blind, you're still a normal person. You still have the same interests that everybody else has. So you're still going to want to do the same things that all of your peers are doing. So for me, I'm really appreciative of all these different companies that do create accessible products, because it does make such a huge difference to my life. I wouldn't be able to create YouTube videos and post them if technology wasn't accessible. I wouldn't be able to stay up to date with you guys on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and share my life with you that way if technology wasn't accessible. I wouldn't have the independence that I have today if technology was not accessible. I wouldn't have a career if technology wasn't accessible, because what company would ever hire somebody who can't use technology? Email is pretty a basic need when it comes to work. So I'm really appreciative, and I think we're all very lucky to have the technology we do, because it definitely makes a big difference in all of our lives. So if you're appreciative of your technology, give this a thumbs up. If you learned something new, give it a thumbs up. If you're using technology right now, give it a thumbs up, which means there should be a lot of thumbs up because you're all using technology. And definitely check out my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All those links are right down there, and I'll see you in the next video.